Yeah. Well, the Masterpiece Cake Shop guy is at it again.
He's at baking cakes or not baking cakes?
He's at not baking cakes, not doing his job.
Ah,
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
Protestant work ethic. Be damned.
I got this from the Christian Broadcast Network. Washington. Masterpiece Cake Shop baker Jack Phillips is back in court today, going on the offense after Colorado officials came after him a second time. This time it's because he declined to celebrate an LGBT activist transgender transformation from male to female.
I love that
he failed to what?
the word that in the story that Kevin is reading was celebrate. However, I think probably it would be bake a fucking cake.
Okay.
Wow, this is we're getting off to a fiery start already.
Yeah, what the heck?
I was gonna say just
Yeah,
You're not required to celebrate.
Yeah, because baking the cake and doing his job is analogous to going to the celebration and saying, I fully support this.
So where is this news story from?
The Christian Broadcast Network.
That explains all.
Got it.
I was listening at the beginning of when you talked, Kevin, but why don't you continue?
Yes. Continue.
Yep. Let's see. With the state's relentless attacks against his faith,
Lord.
Philip has decided to sue the state. The Alliance Defending Freedom is representing Phillips's, stating the, quote, the very same agencies decided to go after him a second time. If this isn't government hostility towards people of faith, what is?
Oh my God.
Okay, so if you're going to come out as a bigot,
Wow.
right, you're going to get all of the cakes. People are going to come in and they're going to be like, cool, can you celebrate this?
Yes.
Right? Because they're going to want to push his buttons. And the fact is, you know, if it's that ambiguous, of course they're going to bring it up over and over and over again.
Right,
because wasn't the ruling very specific last time?
Yeah, it
Right?
was.
It was a narrow ruling.
Yeah, it was very narrow in that it only affected that specific case.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Wow.
to be honest, I do think that this potential customer singled him out specifically and was like, I wonder if this dickhead's going to make a cake for me. Probably
it's
not.
Maybe
Possible,
not, but it's a place of public accommodation. Like, I see the arguments for this online all the time, and people have this mentality of like, well, it's his store. He should be able to do what he wants with it. The thing that is interesting about this argument is when I have this disagreement with a libertarian, they actually know what they're talking about and are saying, well, this is what the law should be, even though it's not presently. Whereas a large swath of the population doesn't think that it's settled whether or not places of public accommodation can be subject to non-discrimination law. For example, you can't have a whites-only sign in the front of your store. So the argument about government involvement of like, well, the government should never do that, it already does. The question is whether or not it should do that. The legal question is whether or not it should do that for LGBTQ folk.
Yeah, to what degree, and who falls into the protected class category.
You can't say whites only. You can't say youth only. You can't say dudes only. The question is, can you say straights only?
I'm sorry, I would single this dickhead out every single time. I'd be like, hey, I got a polyp removed. Could you make a cake about that? No, seriously, man. I would find every way that I can to make them. Really, honestly, because
Eric's
fuck that guy. Fuck that guy.
You would make him celebrate that.
You would make him
celebrate my polyp.
Yeah.
My
polyp removal. You don't celebrate a polyp. You get a donut.
Actually,
I have a gay polyp.
Last I checked, they don't discriminate.
No, what I was going to say is if someone gets a cake for their funeral, is it going to be like, well, actually, I don't want to celebrate your relative's death, so whatever.
Isn't Christianity kind of a death cult?
I mean,
oh, yes.
I mean,
I'm
not
sure whether there's a
argument.
technical definition of death cult.
Well, I mean, when you have a fairly large portion of the population praying for end times, Okay,
So-
okay, they're a freaking death cult.
Apocalypse cult, I guess, is there a difference?
I mean,
Well,
ISIS
can't
everybody
have an
dies.
yeah, but,
Yeah.
without people
but
dying.
if you were towing the party line, I remember thinking to myself, you know, I should be happy right now because they're with Jesus. But there was never. I mean, the pain was still there.
Yeah.
you know, it's funny. There's this kind of disconnect that even for the hard believers, of course, there's still the pain of loss, but they try and convince themselves that they're going to meet them again.
Yeah,
but anyway, that's way off.
As a reference back to Eric and I's early days here, it's a form of denial. And a childish one. But yeah, was there more?
Just some more quotes.
I want to see Eric turn red.
Quote, the masterpiece decision was very particular to the commission to say you cannot be overtly hostile. So now they're going to do, they're just going to say, well, we won't be as obvious about our hostility, but we still want to go after Jack.
I feel like we need to have one of those clips that will just automatically pop up on the nonprofits that's from Monty Python. Help, help, I'm being oppressed. You know, and just like regularly go to it.
Yeah,
that's ridiculous, right? You exist. Your existing is hostile to me.
Yeah.
How dare you hostilely exist? That's bullshit.
Well, the thing is,
You break my bubble.
They're saying that the prosecutors are, being hostile and that they're singling him out and hunting him down and, trying to punish him for his faith.
Yeah.
Sure.
But really, because of that Supreme Court decision, and really that only happened because one person said, hey, he's being a bigot and he's using the Bible to legitimize being a bigot. Someone took that and said, oh, they're being overtly hostile and they are discriminating against him. They're discriminating against his discrimination. And that's why that's why we ended up getting that 7-2 decision.
Recursive discrimination.
So he kind of, in a way, he got away with it, And in other cases, when, a criminal of any other kind gets away on a technicality, we see it in TV and movies all the time. Prosecutors are saying, oh, he got away, but we're going to get him. We're going to get him.
Well,
and we applaud that. Everyone applauds that.
I think I would add to that the very clear stipulation that we're going to get them because repeat offenders happen. And if somebody is going to be an outright bigot and get away on a technicality, that doesn't unbigot them.
Right.
And
and they'll do it again.
Yeah, exactly. It's not about singling somebody out and trying to get them, because they got away on a technicality, but someone who has gone and committed themselves to that kind of crime, what you're referencing is someone who's going to go out and potentially commit more criminal activity,
This is evidence of that. He's now doing this to, transgender people as well.
Yeah. I mean, so to be clear, you can call it criminal activity, and you can argue that it should be, but the question of whether or not constitutional protections in the Equal Rights Clause is not something that's been settled by the Supreme Court.
Yeah, I was saying it was analogous, but yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well,
I wasn't...
Yeah, Jamie.
Yeah.
I was clarifying.
I was listening from the beginning, Jamie.
Don't put words in my mouth, Jamie.
To be clear,
Moving on to the next topic.
No, I always have a problem with this sort of argument because the darling of the Christian right, Scalia, wrote the Employment v. Smith, or not the Employment, what am I thinking of? The Lukumi decision, which set the standard to ridiculously fucking low as far as religious discrimination. As far as legal, as far as laws designed to target religious organizations. So if they're trying to make that claim now, they've certainly changed their tune to something else. It's almost as if their decisions and their position isn't at all based on a theory of law or an idea of what the United States should be. It's almost like we want everything and fuck you. And with that...
Inches and miles.
Inches and miles.